my dear comrades and friends. We are discussing today the continuing attacks on the principles of federalism under the Modi government and how they have intensified over the years. Now this is graphically brought to the front pages through what is happening in Manipur today. Federalism is a concept that exists in many countries in terms of state structure. But in India, federalism arose because of recognition of one fact, that we have to maintain the unity of the diversity that we have. The richest diversity, social diversity in the world is existing in India, and that can be maintained only if we not only recognize but give equal rights and respect to every single diverse plural expression in our country. What is happening in Manipur, unfortunately, is under this double-engine Modi BJP government, the exact opposite. That instead of recognizing the ethnic identities of the different groups, the BJP sought to and is seeking to polarize. Like the Hindu-Muslim polarization, they are seeking a Hindu-Christian polarization between two ethnic groups, which is leading to the most horrendous situation that we are facing today. Manipur today symbolizes the attacks on federalism and India's plurality. That's why when India, in our freedom struggle, this question emerged that how do we keep a country of such diversity united? And what is the political structure through which this unity can be sustained? And after a great degree of debate in the Constituent Assembly, the Article 1 of our Constitution defines India as saying, India, that is Bharat, shall be a union of states. So states are the basis for India as a union. Without the states, there is no India. And that is federalism. Power, executive power, legislative power, judicial power, and financial authorities have to be divided between the union government and the state government, and that is the principle of federalism that is being violated with impunity by this BJP government led by Narendra Modi. And this assault comes because of a certain ideological battle that is taking place in our country between inclusiveness and exclusiveness. That's why the battle that took place during the freedom struggle was what will be the character of independent India. The freedom struggle defined the character of independent India as an inclusive India where every diversity, language, culture, traditions, religious affiliation of people, every diversity will not only be respected but will be treated equally. On the other side was an ideology that said India will have to be defined by the religious affiliation of its people, and since a majority they claim are with the Hindus, so India should be a Hindu or a Hindutva Rashtra. That is exclusiveness. Everybody else is excluded except that religious group. This was a battle that at the time of independence, our freedom struggle resolved in favor of an idea of India, and that is a united, inclusive India. They disagreed then, they disagree today. After 75 years of India's independence, they want to convert this secular democratic republic into their fascistic Hindutva Rashtra concept, which is rabidly intolerant. In this battle, all the fundamental foundations of the Indian Constitution are being assaulted. That is the challenge you and I and the whole of Indian people have to face today. That's why in the past, in the relations between the union government and the state governments, there have been various problems. My good friend Nachiyappan ji is here. We have had a running battle with the Congress party when they dismissed the EMS government in 1959, then again in 69, and then the left-wing governments in Bengal in 67, 69. But these were problems which together in the parliamentary democratic framework, we criticized, attacked each other, but also found solutions. The Sarkaria Commission was appointed after a series of conclaves in which Jyoti Basu, Kalengar and N.T. Ramarao, all of them participated, center-state relations. And then when its recommendations were not implemented, we were there in Parliament when we pressurized the Manmohan Singh government to set up another commission. The Poonchi Commission was set up and recommendations were made. So these were problems that can be solved. But today we are seeing a different animal, a different attack against us. And that different attack is on the basis of this ideological predilection to convert the character of the Indian Republic, the secular democratic character, into a rabidly intolerant fascistic Hindutva Rashtra. And if this has to be done, a unitary state structure is required. A strong center, a unitary center without which a fascistic order cannot be sustained. And that is why these attacks on the state governments and on federalism are part of the larger ideological battle that all of us have to wage today to defend secular democratic character of the Indian Republic. That is why you find the attacks on all the four foundational pillars of our constitution today. That is secular democracy, economic sovereignty, social justice, and federalism. All these assaults are being mounted. Just look at what's happening to the current parliament session. The Prime Minister refuses to speak on Manipur in the parliament. Before the parliament session started, he spoke for barely two minutes on the situation in Manipur. And the main thing is comparing with the opposition ruled states which are going to election now, Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh. But how to resolve the problem in Manipur, restore peace, etc. on that, till date, we don't know what this double-engine government is doing. But they don't want to give any explanation to the parliament. They don't want to be accountable. And the parliament will continue to be disrupted. Last session it was disrupted. They refused to answer the linkage between Prime Minister Modi and Adani and all the revelations, exposures that came on the Adani firm. This session, also they are adamant about it. So Parliament itself, if that doesn't function, government doesn't have to be accountable. And economic sovereignty, you've seen how the loot of our economic resources, national wealth is taking place, the national asset. Social justice, the attacks on women particularly, on Dalits and on our tribal brothers and sisters, how they are growing, and then on federalism. So this is an all-out attack mounted on the Indian Constitution, which has to be undermined completely, made ineffective, so that a unitary fascistic state structure that can implement their ideological project can come, and that is why these sort of attacks on federalism are mounting. That is why the slogans today are one country, one election, one country, one tax, GST, one country, one language, that is only Hindi, one country, one ration card, one country, one voting right, anywhere in the country. Everything is one country, one, and eventually what they want, one country, one government, and that is the central government. And the slogan that they are not giving, but they are trying to practice is one country, one leader. We have to emphatically tell them, and if necessary, defeat them in elections and tell them that this one country that is India is a union of states. Without states, this one country cannot exist, and states means all the diversities and differences in India that have to be protected. That's why you see what's happening today. I just signed a petition saying that the recall of your Tamil Nadu governor. In every opposition rule states the governor or the lieutenant governors are playing, advancing the political agenda of the BJP. This Hindutva agenda. And then what is happening in every other field? The constitution has three lists. One is the union list, one is the states list, one is the concurrent list. In the state list is the right of the state governments to legislate, to make law. But they are encroaching on these rights. The education, it's in the concurrent list. But then there's a national education policy without consulting states. The agricultural laws, which is in the concurrent list mostly, and mainly in the state list. But no state government was consulted before these agri laws were passed. The Cooperatives Act. The cooperatives are purely a state subject. But on that, there is a central legislation that has come. So this centralization is taking place in various forms, in various ways, and the worst is in terms of finance and in terms of imposition of culture. The Finance Commission has declared that 42% of the revenue of the central government will be shared by the states. In the last budget, how much did the Modi government allocate as the state share? 30.4%. Even this constitutionally mandated Finance Commission's recommendation, they are not willing to accept. And then this entire campaign for the imposition of Hindi, they must be told, like it was told to them once. And if I am not wrong, Shiva can correct me, once when E.K. Nayanar was the CPIM leader and chief minister in Kerala, he received a letter in in Hindi. So he replied to that Hindi letter in Malayalam. And he said, as much as you have the right to use Hindi, I have the right to use Malayalam. I think likewise Kalingar also once replied to the central government, when he got a letter in Hindi, he replied in Tamil, saying that Schedule 8 of the Constitution recognizes 22 languages as national languages. 22 languages, and each language has got an equal status. So this imposition of language is a proxy for the imposition of culture. And imposition of culture, a monolithic Hindutva culture. Not only Hinduism, a Hindutva culture, which they want to impose. The imposition of Hindi language symbolizes that, erasing even the differences and divergences within the broad set of people who embrace Hinduism. I belong to a family where my maternal uncle could have married me if I was a girl. And he always felt disappointed, my maternal uncle. He was 7 years older to me. So he said he was waiting for his sister to deliver a girl child. But then I came, so then he couldn't marry. But he can marry his niece. In some other community that embraces Hinduism, that is incest, that is not allowed. In some places, including in places in Tamil Nadu, you can marry your cousins. In many places in Andhra, you can marry your first cousins. But that is not allowed. In northern India, they belong to the same Hindu community. They want a uniform civil law. Will they reform all these? But then this uniformity that they want is precisely for imposing a uniform Hindutva culture in the country that will allow them to succeed in transforming the secular democratic republic into a fascistic Hindutva Rashtra. That is the larger battle. That is why this is a much larger battle. This is not like in the past where we are asking for more rights to the states. Of course we are asking for more rights to the states. But that is not all. We are asking today that this country has to be safeguarded. This constitution has to be safeguarded. The rights of the states must be safeguarded because we are the foundation of this country called India. It is the union of states. That is why at this 26 parties meeting, all of us together came to this solemn declaration with a commitment that India has to be saved today. And that is why we named ourselves as India. And my appeal to all of you here, the people of Tamil Nadu and to the people of the country, is that if we want India to remain what it is as we have defined in our constitution, we have to defeat Narendra Modi-led BJP in the forthcoming general elections. We have to separate them from government and state power if India has to be safeguarded. And that is why I suggested in Bangalore that the slogan for this opposition unity will be and should be, "We for India." That is victory for India, and that is the slogan through which we will have to face the challenges today. So that's why with the confidence that you will join this entire movement to save India today so that we can change it for the better and join the movement for We for India, with that appeal and with that confidence, I'll take leave of you. Thirimbi, ellarkum nandri vanakkam.